So I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about how we plan for beach camping and our beach trips that we take. We've been doing this and perfecting it for, around 10, 11 years. So people always come up to us and ask us, like, how do you deal with the sand? How do you, camp on the beach with all of the, different factors? There's a couple of things that we think about before we even leave when we're planning. Number one, it's pretty simple. I mean, obviously you're going to be thinking about this whether you're camping or not, but sun and bug protection is going to be even more key if you're camping on the beach or camping near the beach. At night, obviously it can get, really buggy. And if the wind is not up even during the day, you're going to be wanting to think about bug protection, as well as obviously like protecting yourself from the sun. Especially if you're out for a long period of time. When we're thinking about weather, there's a couple of different factors there as well. You have, high and low tides, keeping track of when those are, either printing off or having a photo on our phone of when those are. That way we know if we're camping, how much space we have for camp and how far back we need to be from the water, depending on what time we get there. As well as there are actually some places that we like to go on Cape Lookout in particular, where you can get trapped at high tide. So you just want to be cognizant of that. There's like a tiny space that you can get through during high tide. So that's another thing we think about. Also, again, safety wise, you want to make sure that you have a safe place, a place out of the wind, a storm shelter that you can go to if the weather were to turn and you needed a place to get out of the wind or storm. We've used that again for a couple of times when the wind was really, really strong. One time it was actually wind off of a tropical storm. It wasn't like in the middle of it or anything, but definitely, made us feel like we were safe and could sleep that night because we were able to go to the storm shelter. We also just like to keep it simple. Our meals in particular, taking things that are simple to, prepare, simple to even prep before you start cooking, because the wind can be a factor on the beach for cooking as well. Sand flying into your food, you want to make sure you have a lid. One-pot meals are great, things that you don't have to do a ton of chopping and cutting because the sand can get in the food during that time. So you just want to minimize the amount of time the food's like out to get sand on it. And obviously, like, I've literally dropped food, and I mean, you just have to be like prepared for that and have extra stuff and things in the fridge, something cold to eat if it's really hot, things like that. And then the fun part, of course, like, following the rules, having the permits, making sure you have the correct permit to drive on the beach because it can be different depending on where you are. Obviously, just doing your research and having that printed. Again, we obviously go places where, may not be able to have signal, so making sure you're printing things off if you're not prepared with like screenshots on your phone. Those are our planning tips. We do have some other like little tips and tricks that we'll share along the way, but those are the main things we think about when planning for beach trips.